Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine, i pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Un vero giocatore guarda sempre avanti, al prossimo traguardo, alla prossima gara o al prossimo notebook. Per questo c'è Noteback. Fino al 31 dicembre acquista un notebook di almeno 599 euro con processore Intel. Entro 2 anni sei libero di acquistare un nuovo notebook, restituire il primo e ottenere un rimborso del 50% del suo valore. Noteback, la promozione per chi insegue sempre la performance migliore. Euronics, vive le tue passioni.
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.
Ready? Huh? Hey, easy boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Quake Pro League Stage 1 Finals. Our next match is against two incredibly talented players, only one of whom will be able to proceed to the round of 12. Our first player is the South American hope in the bracket, incredibly strong. Please put your hands together for Nosfa! His opponent is a North American player who, since the launch of Quake Champions, has just been getting better and better and better. Does the ascendancy continue here? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Dramis! We're reaching the point now where every match is tantalizing and every best of 3 and in the future the best of 5s have the potential to go all the way. Let's see what happens this time around. Casters, back to you.
Thank you very much. Now, Nosfer versus Dramis. What do we think of this one, 40?
Lightning in a bottle versus the unknown. They've only met once in QPL, and Nosfer took it 2-1. I think it's going to be a close one.
I feel like Nosfer has gradually, like really established himself as one of the top talents in the Americas region. I know that in week 10, he did have a pretty sort of disastrous end with a very convincing 3-0 against Saigib. Saigib was able to conquer him on that final week. But that's a lot of green on that record as far as I'm concerned. And I feel like Nosfer, with what we'd seen so far, he would have had an even better period had he not had to fight Rafa twice.
Yeah, that's a bad roll of the dice there. But that's what you get for being good and trying to challenge the king. But great start at QuakeCon 2. We saw him, I think it was against Wenger, with his scale bearer strategy. Very convincing. We'll see if he has any tricks up his sleeve for this one. But not to take anything away from Dramas, who's been doing pretty well. Hasn't had the best run through QPL. 4-4, not too bad. Getting stronger as the weeks went on. And again, since the iteration of Quake Champions has been getting better and better. He has played since Quake 4, just constantly improving and looking to make a name for himself here.
He's definitely one of those players that really likes those crouch slider champions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is his, I think, his strongest asset. There's no stranger to the fact that he goes slash all the time. And that actually looks like Nosfer had
he
an eye
knows
for
that,
it.
and he was like, no, absolutely not allowed.
I'm not going to allow you to have any fun. But what Dramas did do is go with the next best thing, Strog and Pika. And Dramas is one of those players that I look at. So, and we've talked about this a little bit today because there are some players that really relish it. And before I elaborate, actually, let's go into the map picks. Blood Covenant first, Molten Falls second. And if it reaches that point, we're going to finish up with the Ruins of Sarnath. But this is actually why I think the change that was given to Strog has really directly helped specific players. Because if you were Dramas before and your opponent banned Slash immediately, then, okay, so your best champion that does something uniquely that no other champion in the game can do, that's been removed from play, and now you've got to do other things which you might not be as comfortable with. The sheer inclusion of another crouch sliding champion has just taken that's very, I guess, skin deep layer of just banning the champion out. And it's kind of flipped on its head because now there's always an option. And Dramas is going with plan B here.
Completely agree. It really kind of opens things up for crouch sliders similar to Tox, Dramas, stuff like that. We'll see if he can utilize them as well as he could his slash. I'm sure Nosfa has something to say about that. Looking very forward to getting into this one. When one of these people advance, I think we're looking at who are they going to fight here. It looks like, we got a whole bunch of stuff. We got Dewey and Saigib coming up, and then whoever emerges out of that one will play each other. Just all the NA players taking each other out, man.
Well,
sad face.
Wise man once said sometimes it'd be like that. Now, prediction-wise, what do we think? I've been normally going. I'll start here. I don't want to muscle in on your prediction for you, but
you got the muscles for it, so it's fine.
I feel like I can assure you I do not. Nosfer does, though. Nosfer, I really feel like is just in better shape. We haven't really talked about his playstyle much at all, but I think his tag, right, lightning in a bottle, that's a pretty close description as to how he can approach. He is a man of many styles, but when the time comes to pick those quick champions, it's very hard to sort of... He's just obnoxiously efficient at what he does. And that definitely took Wenger by surprise at QuakeCon. I definitely think Wenger underestimated Nosfer at QuakeCon and paid the ultimate price for it. But Nosfer, a player that oozes confidence. He has a lot more... I think he's got one of the players that has some of the highest levels of charisma in the scene as well. Not afraid to showboat, not afraid to be a showman to the crowd either. And, if he's feeling confident and wants to rub it in, he'll let you know about it. And I love that attitude because it is an extra layer to an already competitive environment.
Absolutely. Huge fan. Agree 100%. And again, that shot of the belt, man. Can we get one of those? Can we get like a caster one? We'll talk about it offline. We'll try and make that work. But as the players
made out of plastic and cardboard.
Yeah, why not? I'll take one.
We'll make our own.
Yeah.
Easy.
As long as Zoot doesn't get one, that's fine. But yeah. This is going to be a good one. So you never actually said the prediction, though, in terms of maps.
I feel like...
almost let you off the hook, and I was like, wait a minute, you didn't actually give me numbers.
So I've actually been personally really happy to see Dramas' progress because I know Dramas did extremely underwhelming at QuakeCon. But then over the course of the Americas, similar to like a brick, and you can see that the gradual growth. But I just think Nosfer is just that next level above. I reckon it might be a 2-0 to Nosfer here.
2-0. Bold prediction. I'm not going to give one because my opinion doesn't matter. And Dramas is going to start off on the Strog, going straight to shotgun into Armor Shard. As we kick this one off, round of 16 action, best of 3, Dramas versus Nosfer. Quake Pro League Stage 1 Finals.
But we just look at the matchups that's been selected here too. Nyx versus Strog and Pika. Fundamentally, Nosfer, he, on top of being able to play these high-octane champions himself, He's very, very familiar with how someone will try and move around a map. His kind of his reads based on your movement are normally sublime. Like right there, Drama's trying to go for the treat. Nosfer having that angle ready to go almost immediately. But now he can spring those traps and he can just play his sort of solid as a rock game, play around Dramas' movement with those rail shots. However, when the chips are down for a fight, I think that Ghost Walk is going to make like a world of difference.
Absolutely. It could be a panic button. You can use it aggressively. There's one good rail right there. Dramas needs to be careful not to open himself up to another one. Playing very carefully on that elbow. Still has the peeker intact just in case he wants to pop.
I love the fact that Dramas has slowed it down, though, and he's just giving no information to Nosfer. He's walking. He's trying to make no noise. He spent this entire minute just getting bullied around the map by Nosfer because he's trying to run away, and Nosfer just like tagging him over and over and over again. So now, slowing it down, starved Nosfer of that information. At least we have the Mega. But what a shot. Ready for the jump pad. And he hits another one. Thankfully, there is a light armor to pick up the pieces. Dramas still forced to retreat just a little bit, and he looks very uncomfortable. Important rail to land. He's now instantly back in this fight, but watch out! Gets the heavy. Unchallenged, Nosfer misses the shot, and just like that, it's actually Dramas that has the stack advantage here.
Nosfer went all in on that. He thought he can get the frag. Didn't work out, and now he's a little bit behind. That pickup's going to help him even the stacks just a bit. Again, Dramas not really using that peeker, waiting for the perfect time. I'm looking forward to seeing how he utilizes that. I mean, again, we saw Dahang play earlier, utilizing it probably the best in NA with the peeker play, I'd say. That was a great rail. Can he find another one? Barely missing out, and he's out of rails. And I think he almost mistimed it. He was like, wait a minute. Don't you love it when you guess yourself on items?
This is something that I mentioned at the very start of the day, is how the rest of the Americas that aren't Dahang have, I think, adapted to their use of Pika for Strong. Because I always felt like Dahang was the only player really in the world that's truly mastered the Pika usage in a duel environment. I know he started on 2v2 and that's really where he innovated the character. But fundamentally, there are a few other players that I think have had a bit of a hard time learning how to use it. You know, Dramas hasn't used it once. I'm assuming it's because he hasn't found himself in the position to use it, sure, but there is this element of, you know, time and place. Dramas hasn't found the right time in 3 minutes. Basically playing this champion just for the slide, popping the Pika just in case. Good thing he got rid of it when he did, though, because Nosfer going in for the kill. Very even on stack. Who's going to get the first frag? Nosfer ticks that box, but not before taking a bunch of damage himself. Thankfully, there was a Mega to pick it up. And just like that, 4C, it's going to be a 1-0 for Nosfer. And he needs to get that all-important rail ammo, because he's going to need it.
A really good frag there. Really good rail. Almost found another one there. Dramas, maybe a little bit of a movement error trying to get that slide going. Nosfer looking pretty strong here, looking to push the advantage a little bit. Stack's about even. He does have Ghost Walk, so he could play super aggressive if he wanted. He's going to see him from down below. There's the LG. Misses with the rail follow-up. Still holding on to that Ghost Walk. I think it looks like he might be using it more on the defensive, or waiting for that perfect moment, which could be after that rail. What a flick. And then the jump over Dramas, a little bit crazy there. 25 HP, needs to be careful.
And there's no sign of a Mega just yet. Dramas has to resort to the small pickups just to try and stay alive. Nowhere near heavy to challenge. And with the stack that Nosfer has, it's risky. Extremely dangerous, in fact, for Dramas to try and fight. And he's going to try and disengage, create some space. Fighting for that Mega would have been a suicide mission, but it looks like Nosfer, he's kind of wise to it. He hasn't taken the Mega. There's still going to be a really nice divide. Looking to get some opening damage, and now it should be nice and healthy. Dramas is a sitting duck down here. He's going to finish the job, and it's a 2-0.
Nosfer's so good at doing damage and kind of just doing a Statue of Liberty play where he's like, I know where you have to go. I'm just going to wait, and once I hear it, I'll drop. None of this double back stuff that's going to confuse me. That's the second time he's done that, second frag. And almost 5 minutes in, looking really strong. Dramas going straight at him. Will eat a rail, might eat some LG. Here comes the shaft from Nosfer. Here comes the Peeker, and we'll count that as a double kill as Peeker and Strog go down together as a team.
I'm pretty convinced the rail went through Pika and just hit Strog on the other side. That was swag to legendary levels. What a crazy frag that was. 4-0 now, and Dramas, it is starting to escape him a little bit. The problem he's having is that Nosfer, he's so content to just sit there, know where he needs to be, and there's no rush. Like, that is fundamentally how Nosfer is playing. There's no rush to do any of this. If he's near a Mega, he doesn't need to pick up the Mega immediately. Let's just step outside, do a bunch of damage to Dramas, and then when the opening damage is done, then collect Mega and jump down with a stack that he cannot survive against.
Completely agree. Take the initial fight. If you take some damage, no worries, you can fall back to the item. Needs to be careful. And there's the rockets. Is the LG going to be enough? No, and the Mega is right there just in time.
Perfect timing on Nosfer's part, and he was in perfect position. And he knew the odds. You know, take the damage, yeah, sure, but if we can survive long enough for Mega to spawn, we can secure the frag anyway. 5-0 now. Dramis really in big trouble, and it's kind of coming back to, and this isn't the only reason at all, but Pika basically doesn't exist in this matchup so far. It is just a champion that can crouch slide. Dramis hasn't got a single frag yet, so the vials don't really matter. It is pure just initial utility of a crouch sliding champion because Slash was banned out. And I feel like the Slash ban has made such a huge difference in how this map is going.
Such a good rail into Rockets. Switches to rail, very patient. And as you said, yeah, since there hasn't been a lot of peeker play, he hasn't been able to deny those shards. So Nosfa, whenever he pops Ghost Walk, all the shards are available to him, so he could just pop Ghost Walk again, get that instant cooldown.
And then we also look at the fact that if you're not really able to use Pika, you're essentially playing on a map where one player has an ability and you don't. And if that ability is instant invisibility and invulnerability, we've clearly seen the setups and the traps that come from that. I just think that this one, if you're putting champions versus each other, Dramis is at a major disadvantage here. And that's going to be an absolute kill, surely. There's no way Dramis is escaping this one. That defensive rocket, it's okay, but it's not enough. Even now, Nosfa can barely tank a rail, especially now Heavy is in his hands. He's going to be on the warpath here. He smells blood, and he's looking to finish the job. He's so close, and there's the rail. Looking for one more, misses a shot, but it's absolutely possible to pick up another. And Dramis is just stuck between a rock and a hard place. See you later, Pika. Don't even try and appear there. What are you doing?
Nosfa trying to get that rail. It's a good defensive rail, and here comes the Ghost Walk. He just wants to end it, pushing aggressively. Dramis knows something's up. He's going to try and escape with the rail. Does land one and gets away. But all this running away doesn't mean anything. Nosfa's up 6.
And what it is doing as well is it's continuing, yeah, it's keeping Dramis alive, but he's nowhere near anything significant. He's being forced away from Mega. He's being forced away from Heavy. Here comes another fight, looking like it's going to go in the favor of Nosfa. Yes, it will. This has just been incredibly one-sided, 40. I just think that the pick of Nyx was such a smart selection going into this first map, because it's so, I guess after experience, Nosfa, he's kind of used to how crouch sliders will approach this map. And I feel like Nyx is kind of like a brick wall that just sits there and goes, right, I'm going to do all this damage, and then when this close range fight comes over where you would normally overwhelm me, I can then reposition and then take you by surprise. Wonderful shot, gets traded out, but it doesn't really matter thanks to Nosfa's impressive stack. And he's looking to get the Mega. At no point has Dramis been even remotely in control here. Wow. Wonderful rail, looking for another one. Just needs one more. Give us the glory stuff.
Almost hit the hat trick there, backed off. Tried to catch him out lower, and he does so. The Brazilian looking so strong right now, 8-0. Is this going to be a shutout?
Maybe.
Look, you know he's going to let him know.
Oh, God. That's a head-on collision. And only Dramis is coming off bad in the other end of that one. A minute and a half, and I mean, this map's already over. There's no sugarcoating it. Nosfa's going to take this 1-0 so far. And if you're Dramis, you just need to approach, how is this going on? Nosfa just has such a... And it's also a game of control, right? At no point has Dramis actually been able to challenge for any of these pickups because he's never got the stack. Nosfa is hitting almost every single rail, and the ones he misses are almost impossible shots in the first place.
Just complete dominance right now.
Oh, God.
1 minute away from the shutout, and you know that Nosfa's going to pop off. He might wait until the second map, but I feel like he's going to let him know a little something. Out comes the peeker, and the Ghost Walk for a little bit of insurance. Right onto the Mega, perfectly timed. Does eat another rail on the jump over, but with 45 seconds left. I mean, now he's just playing not to give up the frag at all. Now he's just being a bully.
Absolutely. Take away anything that resembles momentum. However, gets caught on the stairs, but Dramis gets a little bit of damage, but once more, it's not enough. Nosfa has spent 100% of this map being the one in complete control. So when a fight happens, he just doesn't have any stack. And Nosfa's able to hit everything. So fundamentally, this has just been the Brazil show, I think. 40 is an accurate way of just describing this first map. Dramis just trying to avoid getting 10-0'd, but looks like an impossible task and a great way for Nosfa to start this off. A little bit of a neck stretch to refresh as we're now going to go into map number 2.
Oh, 7 HP and just couldn't close out, and that's in just absolutely dominant performance. There's nothing else to say about that as he takes a slight swig of water. He's like, on to the next one.
But what really just happened there was a game of patience Nosfer being, he can be really sporadic when he wants to be, but there's really just no need for it when you have a strategy against someone who is going to actively kind of try and move around the map constantly really fast. One of the, I suppose, drawbacks of Strog, yes, he's a crouch sliding champion, but he doesn't have like the initial burst of speed that Slash can have. Bam. Oh, so good. One of the coolest looking
You and your crew.
2v1, what? Who cares? But I mean, that was just a game of Nosfer knowing really kind of what Dramus' escape options would be. It kind of looks like two players that I imagine have scrimmed a fair amount in the past.
I think they have gotten a lot of reps together. Again, in QPL official games, only one set that went 2-1 to Nosfa. He's playing so strong right now, it might just go 2-0 this time around, unfortunately for Dramus. But yeah, hopefully for him, he can mentally reset. Maybe this was just a bad first map. But Nosfa's just so strong right now. Representing Brazil, he takes pride in that. He loves the added pressure. And he's rising to the occasion right now against Dramus.
But these land performances, look at the pickups. In the course of one 10-minute map, 16 mega, 11 heavy. And every time it kind of, even if it did go in the favor of Dramus, it was just nothing that Nosfer was worried about. But I mean, it was a game of, he established control at the very beginning, and then throughout the course of the entire map, Dramus was just never in a position to even begin to challenge it.
Constantly on the back foot. I think there was 1 or 2 fights that were just out of reach. 110 HP maybe on Nosfa, but after that it was smooth sailing. It's just utter dominant.
It was a game of rail as far as I was concerned. Those rails from range just consistently shut down Dramus.
Oh, he's getting serious. Oh, he's getting serious. It's like, that was just a warm-up game. Now I'm going beast mode.
If you can secure a 2-0 though after not playing, because we're quite late on in the day here for the Stage 1 finals.
It's been a day. It's been a day of Quake. I'm sure a lot of these players starting to hit that fatigue.
Oh, for sure.
Again, that's tournament environment, baby. You got to be ready.
But it's worth mentioning to the viewers at home, that these aren't their first games of the day. There is a rather extensive practice room that everyone's able to sit down and get warmed up before their matches. So these will not be their first matches. They will be their first tournament matches of the day, though, which we all know is different to...
Completely different.
When you're sitting at home and grinding.
There's so many people out there right now.
I really want to give a shout out to this wonderful crowd. The Luca Comics and Games Festival is such an eye-opener. An entire town that just becomes a convention space. If anyone is ever on the fence about coming to Luca Comics and Games, I cannot recommend it enough. But it's going to be Molten Fools, Dramus, going on with a slightly slower paced champion in that visor. But I think the added information, I think that's actually quite important, because so far Nosfer has kind of pretty much been the constant brain of the operation. And if Dramus is able to play a champion where he just gets that extra trump card, the extra bit of vision, I feel like with just how much of a lid Nosfer's had on how Dramus is approaching it, he needs that extra info, like, desperately.
I like that play a lot. Just, being really patient, trying to make sure the rockets aren't free, and Dramus punishes it. LG, Dramus had the same idea. He's like, you guard the rockets, I'll guard the LG, and we'll see who breaks first. And Dramus is the one to break through 1-0.
Popping that piercing sight to spring the attack. Before I can even finish talking about how the piercing sight's probably going to be quite useful for this matchup. And here's the first tool that secures the first frag. And we're already 1 minute in. Dramus has a little bit of that momentum. Not too much of a delay, though, in between the major pickups. So we'll see how that one's going to unfold. Like Dramus heavily preferring heavy in this situation. Looking for a rail, of which he's able to land one. Probably can't quite hit the angle for the last one, but he's trying to push out. Really try and get some bonus damage. Force Nosfer away. Collect the heavy later. And now we're nicely stacked to go and fight towards what might be a mega fight, or at least nearby.
I like prioritizing those shards. Definitely want vision back. Nosfa trying to fight him off with rockets. Good LG coming out. There's the dire orb for misdirection. Dramus doesn't bite. Pops the vision. Can he find the angle? And no. Nosfa stays out of sight, but that was an incredible amount of damage from Dramus. That's going to open him up to grab the mega, the heavy, unfortunately.
Nosfa's pretty starved of pickups. Fortunately, the lights have respawned near rail, so he's able to more than stop the bleeding. I think it's really unfortunate for Dramus that he couldn't finish that. That's the kind of momentum that you really want to score a 2-0 as early as possible. He was able to survive, and a bit of a rare, complete misfire on the orb from Nosfer. You're normally expecting him to really hit his mark on those kind of shots, but not going to be Dramus' problem, that's for sure.
I feel like that was a panic orb where it was like, look over there, please, just look away, and Dramus wasn't having it. He's like, that doesn't go anywhere. I know that. There's the vision popped again, looking for a rail, a little bit of tribal coming out from Nosfa. Trying to move in on this heavy. He wants it real bad, but Dramus is going to take it again. He's also going to take that rail. Needs to be careful here. 125.
Important rails to undo the damage, and he's going to get some LG. It's going to give Dramus a little bit of a speed boost, though. Thank you very much, mate. Unfortunately, Dramus forced to retreat a little bit. It's going to force him away, and he's going to have to concede that Mega. Dramus has kind of spent almost 100% of this map on the heavy side. I'd be interested to see how he eventually tries to push out. But he can really sit on the lead that he's established. Yes, it's only one frag, but it is control. Unfortunately now, tagged by the rail, Nosfer's just going to do the maths, go in for the kill for the orb, but he's not able to finish it. Nosfer forced to retreat. A pear-shaped fight, but thankfully, he's able to escape with his life. Both players are going to disengage, and Dramus, for the first time, sitting around Mega. And now there should be plenty of pickups around. Fortunately, that light armor is going to spawn. Piercing Sight's going to give him that information. Forces away. He's at least going to get timing on that Mega, so it's better than nothing.
Good rail from Dramus there. The return fire from Nosfa won't land. Still a 1 frag lead for Dramus. This could be bad, pinning himself into a corner. Nosfa's going to move in. He's going to hit a great rail. Dramus railable now, but there comes the Dire Orb to get out.
Dire Orb's so smart. It's so common that you give up a free rail by dropping down near teleporter. Dire Orb just says, you know what? No free damage for you.
1 train ticket out of here, please.
First class. Here comes that Piercing Sight used again. Lands a wonderful rocket and the rail to boot. Nosfer forced on the back foot, but Dramus, he's very mindful of those defensive shots. He knows he has the stack to win the fight. However, if he walks into one rail and he's caught out of position, it can easily go the wrong way. And what's the rush, right? Let's keep the 1 frag lead. Go get heavy. Back to the drawing board. Back where we started.
As a stranglehold on that heavy here, as that rail will come in and miss just above the shoulder, it looked like. Dramus more than happy to take this and keep playing his game. Nosfa has to try and find a way through this defense of Dramus's here.
Bit of an awkward rail angle to hit from this height, but it is going to hit its mark. Nosfa once again tagged. As long as Dramus keeps hitting these rails, it's going to make life for Nosfa very, very difficult indeed. Should be some audio though coming through. Goes in for the orb once more. Orb failing to hit its mark, and he punishes it with the rail. Nosfa's been having a really hard time with those orbs, 40. Not a single one has hit its mark yet.
Yeah, it's absolutely unfortunate, but Dramus is not afraid to play his game, making Nosfa come to him, and it's working beautifully. 2-0. It's not huge in terms of frag differential. It's not super fancy, but it's working, and a W is a W, and that's what Dramus needs right now. 5 minutes in, 2 frag lead. I love it.
Easier said than done, but simply all he has to do is keep doing what he's doing for another 5 minutes, and this is going to be a 1-1. But it's this natural change of pace. The fact that Nosfa hasn't really been able to seize these fights, he's taken so much damage that by the time he uses the orb, it almost feels a little bit like a desperation orb rather than one that's calculated to go in, you know, combo in with something else. And this visor pick, it's making such a difference. It's allowing these rails, and every time a rail connects, Nosfa has to disengage. He has to wait for another rotation because he can't realistically confidently take a fight unless he knows he has a really large stack to compete. And missing another rail. I almost feel like a complete flip of what happened in map number 1 is now happening to Nosfa on the receiving end. That rail misses well. That would have been a free frag. Goes in for the orb. Doesn't choose to teleport to it. Dramus trying to restock. Runs out of rockets though. This should be the opening. Nosfa absolutely scores that one. 1-2. Unfortunate that Dramus would run out of rockets right when he didn't want to, but Nosfa capitalizing nicely. And now this comeback just became totally viable. Caught by a wonderful rail though.
Yeah, it's such a difficult position to get caught out with rockets because you have to fire up the stairs. It's just a really, really hard shot to hit regardless. And now Nosfa looking to tie it here. Needs to be careful. That's a great donk there. Full on 100. But he's going to have to disengage and grab these 225s. Heavy's going to be up. That's going to be conceded, but he is going to grab the Mega. Might take a rail here depending on if Dramus drops down, but it looks like he's just going to go through elbow, maybe collect some shards to try and get that vision back up.
And Dramus is safe to assume that Nosfa has taken the Mega by now. Piercing Sight to give him the information. However, Nosfa is nice and stacked, actually. One of the first times he could potentially take a fight, and if he plays his cards right, might be able to come off on top. However, he's still the one that has to press the advantage. Dramus is so comfortable just sitting on a 1 frag lead. If he can catch those rails, teleports in with the orb to engage, hits a rail. Okay, that's really good because it's forced Dramus away from the heavy. And now with the Mega about to spawn, Dramus way too timid to go for that Mega. It's all about the aim of the game, keeping the lead. It's a tiny lead, but if he can win off this 1 frag, he's got this far, but no, the turnaround! Nosfa catches him out of position, and because Dramus just didn't fight for any of the pickups, there was no way he was winning that fight.
So much stack LG on LG. Nosfa's going to win that 100% of the time. Now, might be able to push this advantage after this heavy pickup. Mega shortly after. Nosfa just running the items now. Drama's playing a little bit too timid for his own good. Needs to be really careful here. Nosfa going to grab the Mega from underneath. Dramas is going to drop down on it, but he's going to need a lot of LG. The orb not even necessary. Uses the rail instead. Had the orb. I thought he was going to go for the shove at 3-2 as we're rounding the 8-minute mark. And this is where it's dangerous for Dramas here. He kind of took his foot off the gas way too early, and now Nosfa punishing.
There's this game of, playing defense still means you have to fight people away from those major pickups. Because the moment you let someone take it and they can run rampant, I mean, we just saw what happened. The moment Dramas got caught round that corner near rail, that was all she wrote. And even if he hit loads of his shots, he pretty much wasn't going to survive that fight. He was caught off guard and the damage was too real for him to survive. But I really think he went for that hyper-defensive play a bit too early for you.
It's really dangerous to play not to lose, and now he's got to force himself into a situation like this, which Nosfa is more than happy to take. There's the Dire Orb up. Heavy is grabbed. He won't take the orb. Instead, he'll rocket jump out.
Wow.
Rails exchanged. A little bit of a crazy play from Nosfa, perhaps giving Dramas an in there. Needs to be careful. 2 seconds to the Mega. A little bit of Tri-Bolt spam coming out. Dramas trying to fire some rockets and get some damage, and he's going to have to chase. There's a good rail. Rails exchanged as Nosfa hits his. He's going to grab a 25. That's going to put him out of rail range for now. Drama's still hurt. Also trying to restack as best he can, but time keeps on ticking.
A much better room for Nosfa to retreat to, though, thanks to the inclusion of the light armor. Dramas only has the health orbs. If he gets hit by one rail and then some, he's in a bad spot. The Mega's about to spawn soon, but again, Dramas, he's been quite consistently starved of regular pickups. The light is just about to spawn, but only just. And even then, it's not a stack to really worry about compared to the amount of armor that Nosfa is currently sitting on. It is just short of the 1 minute warning has now gone through. Nosfa only has a few more seconds to play with, and he can play that runaway game. This very well might be the last piercing sight that we realistically see Dramas get the chance to use. He's going to get some Tri-Bolt, but not before taking a bunch of damage himself. Has to watch out. There is no armor available, and Dramas has to pick this fight very carefully. Nosfa could very easily turn this round.
What a
95
rocket.
damage. Count it up. And now he's railable.
And there it is. And I think Nosfa just stole the show right here. 4-2, 15 seconds left, and time keeps on slipping into the future as Nosfa with a bit of a space jam right there. And just one last kill with a shotgun. Why not? That's going to be 2-0 to Nosfa over Dramas. And that is quite a performance there from the Brazilian player.
I mean, he played from behind for a lot of the map. The moment he smelt blood in the water, he went straight in there and didn't waste the opportunity. Well played. Sad to see Dramas go, as always, but I mean, there's really no taking away from just how well Nosfa approached the final stages of that map.
I really feel like Dramas maybe, put his foot off the gas a little bit too early, and that's kind of what spiraled out of control, as you mentioned before, kind of giving up the Mega and Heavy a little bit too easy, not even going for chip.
It was that moment that, it was about 7 minutes in, perhaps, maybe even 6, I can't remember the exact counter, but it was definitely early enough that it was a bit too eager. There was a specific moment where he gave up the Heavy and the Mega pretty much at the same time, and didn't even look for a rail angle on either of them, which allowed Nosfa to just have this mammoth stack. Dramas gets caught near rail and just gets deleted. And it's just that train of momentum. That one play gave Nosfa full control, and a common occurrence that Dramas had in the entire course of this series was struggling to get control back from Nosfa. It's the fact that he got control so early on, I just feel like he just simply gave it up. He just gave it to him on the silver plate and went, there you go, mate, have the win.
Yeah, I don't know. Nosfa played really well, kept his head in the game, tied it. I mean, Dramas was off to a great start, but look at the stats right there. 31 Megas, 20 armors in the set, 56% rail. Not too shabby, and he's going to be moving right along in the round of 16 into the round of 12, and I'm sure he's happy with that. I'm sure he kind of expected that too. I was going to say 2-1 again, similar to QPO, but he came out swinging 2-0 this time.
It's just a game of absolute form, and Nosfa is playing as well as we fully know he can. We have the bracket to show you guys for the journey that we've seen so far. I'm really excited to see what Nosfa can bring to the table, especially seeing as up next it's going to be Dewey versus Saigib. Whoever wins that has the luxury of facing off against Nosfa. And I'd say, to be honest, Nosfa has a good chance against both of them. I know Saigib was able to defeat him 3-0 in week number 10. However, Nosfa has defeated Saigib 3-0 historically before. So, however you play on the day, I think Nosfa, if he keeps playing like that and Saigib doesn't have 100% performance, then maybe that's something to worry about if he's able to conquer Dewey.
definitely going to be a fantastic match coming up. Dewey, again, just qualified earlier in the day, taking out Sib, taking his spot in the Quake Pro League. A lot of work ahead of him with Saigib. The Enigma, his LG's fantastic. He has quite the history. I mean, this is a player that's taken out to hang. I mean, that's a big deal. So Saigib has the experience. We'll see what Dewey can do, but big shouts to Nusfa, taking out Dramas right there and moving on.
Well, I'm pretty sure we'll be going to a break very, very soon while we set up the next set of matches. This is the stage 1. I keep wanting to say season 1, but it's stage 1. The stage 1 finals of the Quake Pro League. We're going to go for another break, have an energy drink, because by God, I need one. See you in a few minutes.
Da piccolo parlavi con le macchine. I pupazzi, le lampadine. Pensavi di avere occhi capaci di vedere oltre gli ostacoli. I dinosauri non si erano estinti. Tu li vedevi dappertutto e ci potevi giocare. E sapevi che la mamma ti sarebbe stata vicina. Sempre. Sai una cosa? Avevi ragione. Nasce Vodafone Giga Network 5G. Realtà e fantasia sono finalmente connesse.
Un vero giocatore guarda sempre avanti, al prossimo traguardo, alla prossima gara o al prossimo notebook. Per questo c'è Noteback. Fino al 31 dicembre acquista un notebook di almeno 599 euro con processore Intel. Entro 2 anni sei libero di acquistare un nuovo notebook, restituire il primo e ottenere un rimborso del 50% del suo valore. Noteback, la promozione per chi insegue sempre la performance migliore. Euronics, vive le tue passioni.
Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo.
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Cattedrale San Romano here at Luca Comics and Games, where we have the Stage 1 finals of the Quake Pro League currently going on. We started the day, of course, with the challenger matches, and we now know the identities of everyone who's going to be participating in Stage 2 of the competition. But there was, of course, that small matter of trying to put another name onto this belt. And that's the reason why we're here this afternoon, to get through the bracket and set us up for Championship Sunday, where one player will get to lift that, or potentially get to retain it. We will have to see. For now, we have an All-American encounter and a player you've already seen once more on stage. Please welcome back, it's Dewey! He faces a formidable opponent and a fellow countryman. Let's go ahead and say hello for the first time today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Saigib! Of course, only one of these players will be proceeding to the next round, but we are starting to move our way through the bracket rather quickly, and we're getting towards now the spicy end of proceedings here on Saturday. Another fantastic match for you guys to go ahead and take a look at. Casters, who do you think's winning this one?
Thank you very much, Jurasar. Well, we're going to find out very soon our predictions as we get into the nuts and bolts of Dewey versus Saigeb. I'm very excited for this one. It's a matchup I feel like we haven't seen in forever. And we get it all spiced up and ready for us on stage.
I'm excited to see if Dewey can make his defensive style of play work against Saigeb. I feel like Saigeb's not afraid to be a little bit more aggressive than we've seen other people who've played Dewey. And more importantly, that theme song.
Oh my God.
For Dewey, marquee music, shouts to you.
It's my new favorite.
Absolutely beautiful.
I believe we've got some Saigeb stats that we can take a look at and see what all the crack is about on that side. And we can see what his road has been like. Nice little positives that he's had right at the end, a couple of 3-0s. In fact, Saigeb only gets 3-0s when he's on the win.
Yeah, that's all he wants. He's all or nothing. That's what he's about. 4-4 in QPL, not too terrible. Again, ending strong going into this event. But this is going to be the first real challenge for him as he's going to face off against Dewey, who again qualified earlier over Sib to take that QPL spot. And again, I think it's going to be a matter of can you handle Dewey's defensive style of play? Will you break down? Will you make a mistake? Because Dewey is so solid and he can play so safe if he needs to, and he usually does.
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk more about actually Dewey's defensive style very soon, but I think we've got some picks and bans that we can take a look at. Here we are. This is what we have prepped and ready for us. We're going to get a Corrupted Keep, a Blood Covenant, and a Veil. Oh, I see. I was talking about the scale and eyes and possibilities, and lo and behold, 40
there
is what is presented
is.
to us.
So what I'm excited about, if it goes to the third map, I feel like Eisen is a really good counter to scale. That bull rush comes out, you throw down that wally, it takes that hit, you don't take any damage. We'll see. We'll see.
No, that's absolutely true. I think we're getting a BJ out on the first map also, which is, I know we've had like a lot of stats that are lurking around the community, and we've got lots of tools and resources that have been made, but I wonder what the odds are at the moment of having BJ out first pick in a best of 3. I feel like we haven't had that a whole lot this entire stage. But we get it on Corrupted Keep. I'm excited to see if we can get any business going on that.
Yeah, that dual wield's going to be absolutely brutal. Again, even a heavy machine gun on Corrupted Keep is lethal, let alone 2 of them. So that may come back to haunt somebody today. We'll see. This might go all 3. We'll see if Saigeb can figure out how to break through Dewey's defense.
That's it. That's exactly it right there. If he does, then I think that Saigeb can take this in 2. But if Dewey's defense is very strong and Saigeb's not finding an entry point, I mean, it could go the total reverse. Dewey could go 2-0.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost a map yet. It's clearly a... Okay, maybe my logic's breaking down a bit.
Don't you judge him and jinx him. Dewey versus Saigeb, we're getting into it. More round of 16 action right now. Corrupted Keep, and we're going to start off on the Outlaw, and he's going to start off on Galena, throw down that totem, and grab that Mega with a little bit of 50 shards. Right off the bat, that standard fight over at the Rockets. Saigeb hitting a little bit of damage here, but the machine gun coming out aggressively from Dewey here, just peppering damage.
Not doing too badly with it, actually. He has got the lightning gun now, but there's no range for it at the moment. Saigeb, he might have to give this up in a second, but 9 health to go. Both of them so weak. And we're going to have the major items up soon. He's found his totem, so his health's not looking too bad. I think Saigeb's going to fall back and say, let's prop ourselves up with a little armor, then we'll get back to business.
Yeah, beating each other to a pulp right there, and Dewey's getting that totem stack economy going in the same spot. Overstack could be so deadly, and it looks like Saigeb only saw one of them. Does delete it, which is huge. But we'll see if he can find the other one. As Dewey again getting stuck behind the statue. This is not a position you want to be in, fighting out of a corner like that. The LG comes out, the rocket out for Saigeb, not the weapon you want in that scenario. He's going to grab a lower 50 as Dewey makes his way back to the Boneyard. He's going to grab this upper 50 into the Mega. From Saigeb, a little bit of rocket damage, nothing too crazy, and pretty standard safe play here from Dewey, just as we thought.
He spent 1 minute and 15 pretty much not moving from either Boneyard or Mega. It's actually admirable.
He doesn't have rockets.
Yeah, he hasn't got him yet. 66 health though, he's got to be careful with the HP. Saigeb trying to get rid of Totem, manages to do so. Shotgun hurting, but look at the machine gun, both of them weak. Saigeb going to escape from there. 2 health now for Dewey. He's surely going to have to get out a little bit and explore the rest of the map. Oh no, he's going back over to Mega.
No, he's good. This is my home.
Got to get that HMG ammunition. His stack is looking very, very promising at the moment. And you can see that, as we were discussing at the beginning, Saigeb was trying to break that defensive barrier, but he's not been able to successfully do that yet. We maybe just have to wait for a rotation or so. We'll have to see. It's very interesting how Dewey's been able to kind of apply his strats from round limit to time limit actually so effectively in these early stages versus someone like Saigo.
It's almost like weighted training here. He's going to grab these shards. He wants the totems back up as soon as possible. And the Mega has been all Dewey. Not afraid to stay on this side of the map. And Saigib, again, has to break through this defense because at a certain point, I feel like you just break down and you're like, I want to fight. This is Quake, I want to fight you.
Dewey.
And that's exactly what Dewey wants. It's like, yes, come fight me. Come find me. Look at all this machine gun damage coming out yet again. A little bit of rocket spam ensuring that Saigib doesn't push through the doorway. And business as usual for Dewey.
I still don't think he stepped out in the courtyard.
Oh, what a play.
Look at that lightning gun. Saigo so weak he might have to find a way out, but that last rocket right at the end. Dewey will be alive and has some totems to fall back on.
Just that small hesitation for going for Mega. Ducked behind the wall. Saigib started making his move. The LG came out. Luckily for Saigib, he had dual rockets. One of them hit, but now the overstack for Dewey. Advantage to him as he's going to make his way onto the heavy, finally venturing out, but he's not going to get it in time. Instead, he's going to hit a decent rocket, but he's also going to take a decent rocket. Needs to be very careful now. There's the drop onto the Mega. And a little bit of rocket splash for Saigib there. Just a little something, something. The dual wield comes out and absolutely melts him, and just like that, dual heavy machine guns tearing him apart.
You were mentioning that. There was so much of me hoping Saigib would go through the teleporter into 3 totems, but you know what?
You're a bad person for wishing that upon anybody.
I know, I feel terrible.
No, you don't.
But
it's okay. That's why we love you.
He's managed to get rid of those 3 totems straight away. That's like... That's a huge infrastructure from Dewey, just deleted off the map until he can rebuild it. Saigib's got some great control. This is very, very scary for Dewey.
And that's the problem when you stack totems in the same place. Once it's found, it's all gone at once instead of spreading them out throughout the map. But again, if you only stay on one side of the map, that's the easiest way to build the totem infrastructure here, as Saigib 1-0 lead right now, forcing Dewey down into the boneyard, and that's going to be a huge rocket into shotgun, into another one, as Dewey has no choice but to fly up the jump pad and eat buckshot.
Yeah, that's a whole lot to take. There's going to be the heavy. Mega health will go over to Dewey eventually. And now Saigib knows that there's probably some totems starting to get set up. That LG place is dangerous, but look at that dual wheel. Catches him up the bounce pad. Rocket's hurting. He's going to be able to get around the corner in time to land the shotgun blast. Well, that is devastating, the damage that he delivers.
Absolutely shredding Dewey. Oh. Great rockets, though. What a reply from Dewey.
That was like he snuck up behind him. Saigib didn't really have a chance to react then. Dewey now being a bit more aggressive. Haven't seen him go this fast for a while.
He's really turning up the heat here. A little bit of rocket spam from both players. Dewey holding above Boneyard. Waiting for a little bit of breeze. Whoa, getting a little bit of rocket spam in the face. Saigib's going to go in. Dual wield popped. Here come the LGs. Dewey doing a good job of getting away. Needs to be careful with the rocket. Decently placed rocket, a little bit of splash damage. Dewey still really hurt, needs to be careful. And just like that, heavy goes to Saigib. Stack's looking good. Let's try and double back for this Mega, and Dewey's nowhere to be found, as he shouldn't be. He needs to get out of there. 1 totem for a little bit of health. But overall, he is at a disadvantage.
This is sketchy for him. There might have been a window of opportunity to get Mega health, but it's way gone now. There's a light armor that he's staring down. Saigib knows that he's kind of eyeing up those types of resources. And in fairness, Dewey's got a little bit of time to play with, so he can plan his approach to getting back to the 100-100, and then has to think about, okay, how do I disrupt that timing that Saigib has on the heavy armor, on the Mega health, and get myself a few of those resources for myself.
Yeah, no real cause for concern yet for Dewey. 1 frag could lead into 2 or 3, especially on a map as small as Corrupted Keep. Just need to be careful not to give up the advantage. There's a great rocket. The initial one landing, but the follow-up not. Saigib punishing with LG. That's going to be 4-1. Looking to extend the lead even further here. The Enigma with a good start on map number 1.
Saigib is scary with that gun, man. He is so in the zone at the moment. Rockets, though, working out for him. Good amount of damage, still armor left, but Dewey, I think he rockets himself a tiny bit. Should have some totems nearby, but they might not be active at this stage. Goes over to the 225s. Saigib cuts him off and makes it 5-1.
Just didn't really have a choice, a bit too predictable on the health that he needed, so I get read it perfectly. And he might even get another one here as Dewey barely surviving, about 25 HP there. The machine gun not landing. The LG might. The totem goes down for a little bit of extra HP. Dual wield for a little bit of extra insurance, and he will get the frag 6-1. Doesn't even care that the heavy was stolen. It's 7 minutes with a 5 frag lead. Saigib looking so strong. Oh my god, Dewey ruined his life.
Can he ruin it anymore and build up some momentum with this? There's some time until the heavy's up, so he's got some moments where he can go fishing, see where Saigib might be lurking. Hasn't run into him directly, but he's going to spot him there past the shotgun. There is a totem that he runs into. Not going to chase him over to Boneyard. Doesn't want him to get the turn on the major item. But in about 30 seconds, he's just going to go all out as much as possible. Rockets are so close. Totem on the floor. He'll do the damage with it, and there's going to be Dewey's third. He is picking up the pace.
Never seen this before from Dewey. He's going to catch him out in the elbow. Not a lot of damage, but he is going to deny the 50 shard here. And this could go quite streaky for Dewey here if he could just find a couple more frags.
I love the double denial here. This is making me pretty hot and bothered, if I'm honest.
Yeah, the double D get you hot and bothered. As 6-3, 8 minutes in, 2 minutes to try and make something happen. Was that an air rocket? Was that a little bit of splash? Doesn't matter either way. All the damage is important at this stage. Needs these 3 frags here. The stack on Dewey is absolutely huge, and he's taking all of the resources away from Saigib. Good rockets, though. Saigib's staying alive for the time being. And that's all he needs to do. He needs to hug the ropes for as long as he can. 3 frags away. Dewey needs to go on the hunt.
Yeah, he absolutely has to. Saigib's just managed to get himself a heavy, so Dewey's overlooked that resource a little bit. He's going to find him just going through the teleporter, and that's the missed time. You don't want to see that if you're a Dewey fan. We've got Mega Health at least that will be arriving, but he still has to push the boat out. There's going to be dual wheel to deal with, but it's all about landing that first shot successfully and delivering from there. I think he just saw him around the corner. He knows exactly where he is.
And all these delays are going to add up. Still down 3 frags. Heavy goes to Saigib again as Dewey's trying to catch him out and surprise him. Saigib more than happy to just stay in this tri-bolt area. In this fortified den of his. 1 minute left. Dewey doesn't have a choice. He's got to push. And Dewey on the flip side of the coin, he's the one in this position that's usually used to playing defensive. Saigib taking a page out of his book saying, you have to chase me. Good luck. They meet in the middle. There's an air rocket. Another one, but Saigib will get the best of him. And I think Dewey knows that that might have been curtain call for this map.
Absolutely. He's given a great bash at it. Saigib going to defend once again against the rocket as he makes that transition through the teleporter. That's 8 for Saigib. Can he get any more before the time is up? As these 20 seconds, well, it's more than a miracle needed from Dewey. He's to get into the mainframe. He's going to push fire. Looks like he just wants to get into a bit of a fight. Because Dewey's combat skills are pretty good, but he shies away from it sometimes, doesn't he?
He is very much a player that likes to take the 99%
yes.
Battle. Like, I know I'm going to win this. Similar to Rafa and other players, but yeah, he's got the combat skills. It's not necessarily a lack of confidence. It's more just statistics to him. So.
Yeah.
Saigib, great first map for him. Dominant performance. And Dewey, the defense was good at first, but it started to crumble.
And there was just the one pivotal moment at the end where it looked like he lost the timing of the heavy. And I think that was really... I honestly think that he was playing brilliantly in control at the end, but then you needed that last little part of the formula to come into play for it all to connect and for that comeback to manifest itself. Otherwise, Saigib was really solid. You could tell from the beginning he just wanted to fight.
Yeah, and I really like the use of Saigib's dual wield there on BJ. A lot of LG, some machine gun that we saw, heavy machine gun, just tearing him up, and then a little bit of shotgun as well. Using any weapon he needs to, and it's so nice he used it twice. And look at that dual LG. He's like, take the armor, I'm going to frag you. That's fine, I don't care. That air rocket, wow.
Yeah, he got there in the end. The rockets were very wild in this fight, but you know when you get trapped between a totem and a hard place, it's rough. Doesn't bode well.
It's rough. And I think it might just be a matter of the map being a little too small to play Dewey's favored defensive style, and it's not really Blood Run where there's kind of more corridors and stuff like that you could pivot around. As we take a look at Saigib's stats from that map.
The items I'm looking at the moment, sorry to interrupt.
15 heavies.
I mean, that's the amount of focus that... I wouldn't even say it's the amount of focus that he had on the heavy, it's the amount of focus that for a long time early on, Dewey didn't have on the heavy. It was all about holding. For about a quarter of the map, we saw him holding the Mega
Just taking
place.
Mega, using the armor shards instead, and trying to deny LG and also have him come at him behind that. Usually behind the statue is a death sentence. Somehow he made it work for about 3-4 minutes, but then he started having to branch out, and that's where Saigib kind of took fights and started chipping away at him. I think Blood Covenant, the second map, is going to be more in line with what Dewey wants to do. There's more space. He could play a little more defensive depending on if he gets
runaway
the frag
rails
advantage. Runaway rails, hit and run, stuff like that. We might see a lot of that coming out of Dewey. Again, that only really works if he gets 1 or 2 frags up. If he starts playing from behind, that's going to be rough. And then Saigib gave him a taste of his own medicine near the end there, and he's like, I can play defensive too.
Precisely. Well, guys, map 2's not far away as we are moving into it now. Can Saigib get the 2-0? Are we going to get Dewey to go 1-for-1 and pick up a tiebreaker map? We are on Saigib off the start.
Wow.
It's just actually almost baits Dewey into using that Ghost Walk immediately, not following through on the orb. They will break away eventually for their major items, but an unconventional start we've just seen.
Yeah, very, very kind of awkward start there, forcing the Ghost Walk out. But well done to Saigib. He had the LG. Almost could have floated her down, but 0-0. No harm done, just a little bit of aggression there. Good rail from Dewey. And I have a feeling we'll see a lot of that, just posting up, taking rail angles as best he can. Once he knows that Saigib is weak, he's going to move in for the kill. There's a great return rail from Saigib after a rocket jump from the rail area.
He's going to fall back onto the heavy. I think he was debating whether, do I go for light, then heavy? I don't have the data enough on Dewey. These little drive-bys that we're getting from Saigib are fantastic. Maybe missed an angle just there. His stack is in a precarious position. He's going to drop right in front of him, forces the Ghost to walk out. He has got the orb if he wants to escape. He's going to use it to get up into the bridge and evades the line of sight of Dewey. He should be well set up for the next heavy armor, but that was pretty scary for just a couple of seconds.
Really good awareness, though, knowing, okay, I got Ghost Walk, or Ghost Walk popped, but I need to be very careful not to take damage after the fact. Uses the orb, doesn't try and save it, and he gets out of there without taking a lot of damage. And here comes a lot of damage for the LG into the rail. Both players very weak. Dewey going up the jump pad, trying to hit a preemptive rail. Saigib not biting, not going through here. Needs to be very careful. 50 shard taken by Dewey. There's the orb up to nail. A little bit of tribal, but a little bit too late. Here comes the rocket, and Dewey playing on the aggressive gets the first frag, pushing him back.
That was really nice from Dewey, pushing past the tri-bolt angle. He knows that tri-bolt is good at that sort of, well, the range that it is. If you push into someone doing it, they're kind of left helpless until they switch weapon. Brilliantly picked up for Dewey. Saigib spawns, getting a light, getting a mega health. He needs to get himself weapons. Now he needs to get himself those resources all over again because of Dewey's fantastic railing.
And with Nyx, you can kind of traverse the top of the map to rail, to bridge so easily. There's another rail, and he's going to drop down. That can open him up for another one here. There comes the orb, and he's going to take it, but he's going to eat a lot of rockets. The swap to rail lands perfectly. Dewey ready for that one. He says, again, take the item. That's fine. I'll take the frag.
And right again, as we saw with the first kill, Saigib manages to spawn with the light armor, getting himself the mega health, and it's almost like rinse and repeat at this stage. He's going to follow up quite aggressively. Oh, the missed rail right at the end. I don't know if it would have quite secured the kill, but it would have been damn close.
But he had Ghost Walk. He didn't pop it. He got too confident in that. That's one frag to Saigib.
I think he hinged on that rail landing and that being securing the kill.
I'm going to blame him.
It felt like it was written in stone for him, but Saigib, he gets himself on the map a little bit with that single kill. He's still looking for one more to tie it up. Well, there's those bounce pads giving each of the players plenty of information to work on.
Ghost Walk is up, as is the Dire Orb. There's a little bit of tri-bolt damage. Dewey's going to know exactly where he is. Opts for a heavy machine gun. Not quite secured the rail yet. Doesn't want to take any damage, and there it is. Even a little bit of a wall jump. Just because of the sheer paranoia of eating a preemptive rocket.
Saigib's just gone and taken all the major items. He doesn't have the orb up. He's to find a way to force this out. This is a great position. The trap there, 174 damage, looking for the rail. Saigib's going to go back up. Missed shot from Dewey, and he's going to use the Ghost Walk.
That was such a critical opportunity. Yeah. That was a free rail. Two beautiful rockets. Just can't hit the rail. After that, surely it would have been a shotgun or LG finish.
Saigib actually going to push on this. He's got the orb. He should know the timing. He goes in really late on it. Dewey uses the rockets, ends up taking himself out. I think that was this crazy misdirection from Saigib. It looked like he was just baiting it and he wasn't going to go through it. But a really late play on the orb catches Dewey by surprise. We're 1 for 1 now, thanks to the self-kill there from Dewey. With a pseudo 2-2.
Getting closer to the halfway point here, Saigib. Trying to find another frag to get comfortable here. Forces out the Ghost Walk almost immediately after that push with the LG. Looking for the rail angle. Not going to find it quite yet, but he is going to orb up. Potentially, there it is. Waits until the last second to use it. He's still going to eat some rocket damage as Dewey's like, 2 telegraphed, my friend. 2 telegraphed. Lots of machine gun damage. Good lord.
Wow. Saigib still had plenty of resources to check just then, so he's pushing in, but he might regret this. He's going to hit way too much shotgun, and Dewey just keeps the machine gun out. Saigib, you are in too deep there, my friend. Dewey, he lost his lead temporarily, but just as quick as he got it, he's right back in the game. But he's having a bit of taste of that HMG himself, but Saigib ties it up again.
Saigib's just like, this gun, this weapon right here, I got one of these too. 2-2, 515 on, in the orb. He's going to finish it with heavy machine gun again.
I think he got some good orb damage in there too, just comboing it all together. And he's got the heavy now. This is